Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. We are in the middle of October, which means that we are only 2 weeks away from NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month, where we're all running around like crazy, not making any sense as we scramble to write 50,000 words in 1 month. So October, as we all know, is the month of Preptober, where we're all preparing our manuscripts and ourselves for that chaotic time of the year when we're trying to get those words written. And today's video, as the title implies, are the 3 things people forget to tell you to prepare for NaNo. Before we jump into the tips though, I did want to give a really quick update on my own Preptober work because I wanted to do an update video and this special Preptober tips video, and I didn't want to take the time to do 2 separate videos, so here we are with one delightful video. So I had 3 projects that I've been working on over the month of October. The first being, of course, super secret project, which has officially been renamed Project Ether. It is a fantasy that I am co-authoring with Chalise Robertson, and we drafted the first half in May. We've been working on changing some of the plot and some of the characters and some of the world building, and now in the month of October, and actually some of last month as well, we have been working on really hammering out all the details of the entire outline so that we can draft the second half in NaNoWriMo together. Planning for that has been going exceptionally well. We have our story outline is finally complete. We've had to redo the outline. I don't even care to mention how many times. It's just what you do when you're a writer. But we finally have figured out how the story needs to go at the end. So we have our outline, and over the next few weeks, we're going to be bullet pointing the individual scenes so that we can just race right through writing them when it comes time for NaNo. So we've got most of the work done on that, and it's coming along beautifully. The second project I was working on was Littlehood, which if you did not see my vlog duology on the final days of writing that, I will post it in the cards above. But basically, I finished Littlehood, the 0 draft, this past Wednesday. I'm calling it a 0 draft because it is nowhere near in shape enough to be called a first draft. It's really more of an elaborate outline with some dialogue and a little bit of narrative and a couple pieces of description, but honestly, it's not really much more than that. It's the bones of the story. Good news is the draft is done, so that come 2020, I can really start revising and rewriting and just starting over with it really in a lot of ways, but taking all those pieces that I've worked out in this draft and implementing them. So that went great. It's done and it's over with. And I'm so excited for how the story turned out and how the characters have turned out. I will be doing a video about Littlehood. I'm not sure when, probably in December, as like a wrap up to the year. But so be keeping an eye out for that. And of course, the third project I was working on was Snowdust. Now I have not gotten to this one yet because I have been so busy trying to fix the other ones. But that is what I will be working on these last 2 weeks of October. Obsessively will be Snowdust. It is currently in its 4th draft stage. All the developmental edits have been cemented and have been added and all that good stuff. And so now I'm going through with the nitpicky word type edits, where I am like fixing every single word choice. I am making sure that every full sentence flows with the paragraph. I'm making sure that, there's no statements that are out of, line for what the character would actually say, stuff like that. Because my official professional edit begins the first week of December, and I want it to be ready and not have to worry about it during NaNo. So that will be over the next 2 weeks what I'll be doing, and I will keep you updated at the end of the month. Although, of course, I'll be updating constantly on Instagram if you want to go over and follow me there. The link is in the description box below. I'll be keeping you updated, but there will be a video probably at the end of October as to how that went. And yeah, just updates, more updates, lots of updates over here because lots of books being written. Another thing that I've been doing this month that I feel like I should put in here because like more of an invitation is that over on my Facebook page, which is, Facebook, etc. / Holden Writer, I think is what my thing is for everything. But we have been doing live world building write-ins going through the world building workbook that I created back in September. It has been so much fun. Oh my gosh, we've gotten so much work done. Pretty much I'm doing them with my co-author, Chalise Robertson. She's an amazing woman and an amazing writer. And we've been talking all the stuff that's fantasy world building. We did maps and geography at the beginning. We did magic systems in the second week. This past week, I guess, we did fantasy races and creatures. We had some amazing discussions. And then this coming Wednesday, we're going to be talking about history. And there's going to be some funny stories there. So that has been an amazing thing for me, just going through and thinking about, sorry, my back is hurting, my high fantasy series, which is not coming out for a long time, but that I'm still kind of working on in the background. If you want to join us, then please mark your calendars Wednesday evenings at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. We are going to be doing those throughout the rest of October. We have 2 more sessions left, and I really hope to see you there if you get a chance to come visit. Okay, now we can start talking about those 3 tips that people forget to tell you for Preptober, or if you wanted to say 3 things people forget to tell you to prepare for NaNoWriMo. That's why the title is so much shorter. So most people, when you go into Preptober or even Preptember, which of course is the September version, people love to put up videos and they love to post blog posts and social media posts and to give you all the advice, which I love. This is one of my favorite times of year because I love watching everyone's got so much energy and excitement and so many great ideas. But almost all of the videos and the blog posts and the social media posts that I have seen have been about how to prepare your manuscript or how to prepare yourself for writing the manuscript. Not a whole lot of tips have been given for life outside of writing, which for me has been the cause of me not finishing NaNo, anywhere near finishing NaNo, for 3 years running. I finally realized this year what it was. It wasn't just that the story wasn't what I was hoping or that it wasn't turning out the way that I was hoping. More than that, it was that my life around NaNo was so chaotic and so I wasn't even paying attention to it while I was preparing my book in October, that when it came time for me to sit down and write in November, either I didn't have the time because I had so many other things that I had to do, or I was completely distracted, or I was completely guilt-ridden because of all the things that I really should be doing, but I'm writing instead. And so I have basically 3 categories of things that I personally am going to be preparing before we even get to November so that my life surrounding writing is in place. It is rolling along smoothly. It is a machine well oiled, if you will. It is fine and it's dandy so that when I actually do sit down to write, I have the time, I'm not distracted, and there's no guilt because I already did all the work. So let me share with you these tips. These are from a stay-at-home mom. I'm also going to throw that out there. I don't work any other jobs. My house, my home, my family, that is my job. And then, of course, writing. And because I have littles, I feel like that in itself sometimes is enough of a job. But I know that there are people out there who have more on top of that. So, take this advice and then just tweak it to what your individual needs are. And again, I hope this is helpful. Okay, so the number one thing that I want to fix before I go into NaNoWriMo is food. This may not seem like a big deal, but when you have kids and you're trying to save money because you got, car payments and rent and phones and internet and debt and stuff, you don't want to be spending the money to go out every weekend or every day. And you also don't want to be spending too much time every day fixing the food because, you want to have your time to write. And for me, I love meals made from scratch. I just do. And I mean, buying a lot of ingredients to put in them, but mostly homemade foods. I love homemade foods. My family loves homemade foods. And it's very important to me. It's not important to everyone, but it's very important to me, for just me and my family. So one of the number one things that I wanted to do for NaNoWriMo before I ever get to November is to plan out all of my month's meals in advance. This may sound a little bit hectic and crazy, but it actually took me less than an hour. I sat down, and I should preface this by saying that I usually do meal planning at the beginning of the week. I sit down, I write down the things we're going to eat for the different evening meals, and then I just throw in stuff for breakfast and lunch that we just normally eat. So I already had long, full notebooks full of pages of written down menus. So I sat down with my husband, who also is a very picky eater, which is part of why I needed to do this. So I sat down with my husband, I pulled out all of the notebooks that I could find, and I made up a list of foods that he loved, foods that he was, they're okay, and foods that he hated. I completely scratched off the list. Then I took that list of food, and I took a template where I just put in every week what suppers we would eat during each week. Okay, this is what it looks like. And I actually posted a picture. But as you can see, I didn't bother filling these out because for the most part, we know what we're eating for those days. But then I just put in the meals that we will likely eat. And you can tell they're pretty simple. They're pretty simple. And then this isn't for the same week, but I also have grocery lists that I will be filling out. I do it according to sections of the grocery store. The reason that I'm including this in my Preptober thing is because I'm using every week of this month that I have left to try out the week's worth of menu planning and to write down the ingredients that I will need for said menu plan in the grocery list. That way, when I need to go grocery shopping, I just grab that week's list, grabs that week's menu, and I can go grocery shopping, and then I can do whatever food prep I need to. Food prep is probably a topic for another video, but I do as much of that as I can as well, like throwing meat in a marinade and throwing it in the freezer, or going ahead and grounding up the ground beef, or cutting up the vegetables in advance. You know, trying to do as much as I can during that day that I grocery shopped, so that during the rest of the week, I just throw stuff together and throw it in the oven or on the stove, and we're good to go. You can totally adapt this system, and this is not a system that I originated either. I think I should throw out there. This specific template I came up with just on Microsoft Word. This actually came from my sister-in-law, who has an amazing program where she teaches you how to do this if you've never done it before, or if you have done this kind of stuff before and you feel lost. I took her course as like a tester for the course, and this is kind of where I've ended up at the end of like months and months and months of trial and error, because I was messing up, not because of the program, but because I was inconsistent. So just putting that out there, that this is a program thing, and when she finally comes out with that program, I am totally like broadcasting it on my channel because it was a lifesaver for me as a writer and as a mom, as a very busy mom. The second one is my sleep, morning, and evening routines. These ones probably are in a lot of Preptober videos, but I haven't actually seen them in them as of yet. But basically for me, the biggest thing that is a deterrent to my afternoon writing schedule is sleep. If I did not get enough sleep the night before, I have to take a nap, because otherwise I will not be able to function and take care of my children, and I need to be fully sane. So to me, getting to bed at a decent time and getting up at a decent time is very important, and I haven't done it yet. So I shouldn't really wait until November to start this schedule, should I? I also want to incorporate actual routines for the morning and for the evening. For the morning, that will actually wake me up and help me to feel like I've got a bit of a jump start on the day. And for the evening, to help me to relax and to know that everything is already taken care of for tomorrow, and this is my few minutes before bed that I get to just enjoy, you know, a good read or whatever I've got on my routine. So I will share more about those morning and evening routines in November as part of my NaNo vlogs. You can be keeping an eye out for those. And then the third, and probably the most important of all, is together time with my family. Now, my kids stay at home. I have an almost 5-year-old and an almost 2-year-old, and they stay at home with me during the day. I'm planning on homeschooling them. I already am working on homeschooling my oldest. And so me being a mom is a full-time job. Me being their teacher is also a full-time job. So I'm in charge of structuring our days. There is no school that we have to get to at a certain time. There is no, childcare that we've got to work around. So I'm in charge of the schedule for the day and what we do, which is wonderful, but it's also a bit scary at times because, how do I fit it all in one day? Which I was reading a book about bears with my dog the other day, and it was all about hibernating, and I was like, I'm so glad. Like, we talk about we don't have enough time in a day. I am so glad that we are not like bears and we have to sleep through the entire winter and we miss all of those months. At least we get the winter days, right? We have enough time. We just have to be a little bit wiser with how we spend the time, I guess. But to me, the biggest things, I'm looking at my notes here in case you're wondering why I keep looking down, but to me, the biggest things will be the school time that Trudy and I have together, as well as making sure that I get enough alone time with my younger daughter, Kaylin, so that she does not feel left out during that time. And then, of course, together time when my husband is home, and then when we're not doing school, what do we do when mommy's working, when there's cleaning to be done, when there's food that needs to be cooked. So organizing and orchestrating all of that so that it's already taken care of. And for my daughter, making sure that her schoolwork is already ready and set to go. I have really been struggling with being a little bit on the lazy side and just kind of doing whatever feels good. And, that works for now, but it's not going to work next year when she enters first grade. So, for this year, what I'm really working on, and for this month in particular, what I'm really working on is I'm going to be creating folders for every week, and inside each folder, I'm going to have all of her printable pages printed off and all of the crafts. Like, I'm going to have the instructions, and I'm going to have the list of materials and stuff. I'm going to have, you know, her books for each week that we're going to be reading through, the picture books and the school books and stuff, stacked with said folder in a special place. And then, you know, just get everything ready and set so that it's just at the beginning of the week, we just pull the notebook out and, you know, we go through that workbook. I believe that's what I've been wanting to do for months, and I haven't gotten around to it because it's one of those things where I think I'm afraid of failing, because I have kind of petered out quite a bit before on the school with Trudy, and so I know that I have to. I think that scares me sometimes. So I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to spend probably this weekend working on going through all of these wonderful notebooks that I have accumulated between my mother, my mother-in-law, and myself, just all the homeschooling materials, and just figure out what we're doing for school. And then, of course, for my youngest daughter, Kaylin, the biggest thing for her is buying a baby gate for her bedroom so that she can stay in there and have something safe and constructive to do while we do school during the morning, so that we're not being disturbed. Together time with Daddy, making sure that there's something to do and that they have already had something to do. For my daughter Trudy to have something constructive to do during the afternoon time when Mommy is writing and Kaylin is sleeping, so that she's not lonely, because let me tell you, she is my social butterfly. Of course, I am married and my time with my husband is very precious to me. So to me, having only one night a week that I write, and then making sure that my time is spent well enough during the rest of the day and the rest of the week that I'm not having to clean at night, I'm not having to stay up washing dishes, that I'm not doing anything else at night except just spending time with him, because I want that time to be our time where we're binge watching a TV show, or, you know, we're doing something fun. I don't know, just whatever we're doing, we're just able to spend time together and just be together and talk, and, you know, we're best friends and we want to, you know, nurture that relationship and keep our marriage healthy and strong. So I want to make sure that that time is sacred by making sure that the rest of my day is taken care of. So those are my 3 tips that I haven't really seen a ton of around on authortube or anywhere else really for Preptober. I hope that they were encouraging for you. I hope they were inspiring for you. And I definitely plan on keeping you guys updated as to how my plans are coming. Again, on social media is where I usually post the most. So honestly, really just Instagram. That is where I post, is Instagram. So again, it's down in the description box. It's Holden Writer. And you can go check me out on there, and you can follow me. Yeah, that's pretty much all that I have for my updates and tips videos. Be sure to subscribe on the way out. I post weekly videos on how to write a book, how to write a series, and specifically how to write fantasy, whether it be world building, characters, tropes, and stuff, whatever. So yeah, be sure to subscribe, click the notification bell to know when videos go up, because they're not always, you know, exactly on the day that I say they'll be. And above all, have an amazing rest of the weekend writing. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!